This clip is from the Patreon podcast I did with the Different Knock. If you want to sign up to my Patreon to hear the full 55-minute podcast, or check out the Different Knocks channel, which is an Arsenal analysis channel, I'll leave both linked in the description below. Also, my mic was a bit dodgy, so just bear with me for this episode, and I'll get it fixed for the next one. But also, if you want cheap, good quality football jerseys for the new season, or retro jerseys from the past 40 years, then check out jerseyfever.com, a link will be in my Instagram bio, and if you use coupon code Atlantis, you should get a discount as well. I'll leave my Instagram at the top of the description and comment section, and a link will be in my Instagram bio.
Okay, so today, we're going to have to discuss the transfer window because it looks like we're both Arsenal and Man United are in a spot of bother. I don't know who's worse at the moment. I mean, we've got like a comic scenario where Harry
I think it's you.
Yeah. Like the whole, if someone was writing like a script, like a comedy script, this is how you would write it. Like you get an offer for 30 million, which is actually insane considering how bad he's been. Like, I would have been happy to just give him away for free or on loan, and you get an offer for 30 million. Everything's agreed, and then he's the one who says, no, I want to fight for my position. And he's going to be like fifth choice, which is even funnier. But you know Southgate's going to still pick him as well, which is just... I'm sure there's just some conspiracy between Southgate and Maguire just to like ruin Man United.
Maguire's got his nudes. He must do. Well, to be fair, I do think a lot of Maguire's... and this is... to preface all of this, all of my comments on Man United... I will always defer to United fans. I think one of the biggest shames about like modern media and like the way media runs at the minute is that basically you have people who pretend to be experts on every club. Like Neville will talk about Arsenal. I'm like, mate, you've probably seen about 4 of our games this season. How are you speaking with any authority? So I'll always defer to United fans. So please correct me. But from an external perspective, it looks like Maguire's just been in the wrong system the whole time, essentially, or he's been used. Obviously, he's made mistakes. I'm not saying he's not. He's should take some personal accountability. But I think in like a 3 and like that Spurs team, let's say last year, I think he could have thrived.
Well, the thing is, he's probably like a Premier League standard player, but he's so limited that you basically have to build a system around him, and you never really want to build a system around a centre back because how many teams play a back 3? Like, really, it's only West Ham. And you know Moyes is going to get sacked sooner or later. And then when they bring in another manager, there's going to be the same problem. Yeah. And also, but also some of the mistakes he makes are just so, like you just couldn't reason with it at all. Like, it's just so comical. And now I'm thinking, when he was at Leicester, was he really that good? Or was it just like, did he just have a few good games? And because people don't really watch the lower teams, like, week in, week out. So my theory is that a lot of these players get significantly overrated because they may have a good game against a big team, but if you watch them throughout the whole season, they make a lot of mistakes. But if you make a mistake for Man United, it's like the first thing people talk about.
Yeah.
Whereas if you make a mistake for Leicester against, I don't know, like Brighton, it's maybe like 5th on match of the day. You might have lost 4-1. Like, there's not as much attention. So now I'm actually thinking, was Maguire actually like good enough to even be at Man United in the first place? Or was it just like the hype that got him there?
He was like a hipster's pick early doors, gets picked up by the mainstream, and then it's like Gary Neville says, like the 2 hardest positions in football, or certainly in the Premier League, are United goalkeeper and United number 9. And I probably agree in terms of pressure on you, in terms of eyeballs, like those are the 2, man. So and centre back's not far behind.
Yeah, because Man United is just such like a even like after the game against Wolves. Like, even though we won the game, really, they should have had a penalty at the end. Because when I saw Onana do that, like, you know, when you don't really see like an actual clip and you're waiting for the replay, and you're thinking, it probably wasn't that bad. Like, he probably just like missed the ball and caught him, and then you just see like him miss the ball and go clatter in, and then VAR's coming. I'm thinking, there's no way they can't give this as a pen, and somehow they didn't. But
but
even that game, like. After it, I just knew the Mason Mount comments were coming in straight away. Like, you can just tell, like, I can tell, like, as soon as if I know the result of a game, I know exactly where the criticism is going to go, even if, like, because certain people, especially with, like, when there's, like, 2 players vying for the same position. So for Arsenal, it might be, like, I guess it would be Havertz and who else is vying for that sort of...
It's hard to say. Maybe, like, Havertz and Smith Rowe or something like that.
Yeah. Like, if you're like a big supporter of Smith Rowe, then you're going to criticise Havertz more when he has a bad performance. So with Mason Mount, it's the same thing, because obviously some people want Amrabat. Some people didn't like it in the first place because he's like they didn't like him at Chelsea and didn't thought he was overrated. So but like now, because I thought our transfer window wasn't going too bad a few weeks ago, but it looked like we were going to get the Amrabat deal over the line, and we already had Mount, Højlund, and Onana. But now I'm really concerned, because I'm like, I know we're going to lose Pavard. I think you or Inter Milan will get Pavard ahead of us now.
I don't know whether we'll get Pavard. I think, to be honest, I don't know if you saw this, but the David Raya deal was structured really, not strangely, what's the word? Unconventionally. It's a loan with a fee and then an option after a certain amount of games, which is essentially to bypass FFP, which is fine.
And he extended his Brentford deal as well, didn't he?
Yes, yeah. Which is fine. But then that tells me that we're at the limits of FFP. And we've spent, I think, have we spent the most in the league? Maybe we have. Probably have. Certainly spent.
I think Chelsea have. I think.
Oh, yeah, Chelsea. Chelsea might have now.
They've structured theirs over the next 20 years, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's amortized over 6 centuries or whatever it is. But I think before Chelsea sort of came in, I think we'd spent 200 million or something. We're probably the highest spenders. So I think we must be at the limits of FFP. If you also consider it's backdated in terms of commercial revenues from previous seasons, and we were in the Europa League, we had a season without Champions League, so our commercial revenues, we've only just signed new deals, etc with Emirates, blah blah blah. So I feel like the Pavard deal, especially when you consider his wages, I can't see that happening.